Welcome back to my backyard, kind of. Mostly a gravel pit, but this year I do have a house that has this nice like cement slab with enough space to actually throw discs out of. So I have the net set up and I've got a couple of Techdiscs. I bought one last off season and they were nice enough to send me two. So I have a force and an undertaker. So we'll see kind of the differences in how each of them flies. If you guys don't know what Techdisc is, it's basically just this little chip that goes on the bottom of a disc, and then it tells you a bunch of metrics on the actual flight of it. This is not sponsored by Techdisc, but I want to make the video anyway. So we do have a sponsor for this video, but it's coming up. This is mostly going to be just kind of a practice session with the Techdisc, see what my numbers are at, and then trying to get my nose angle down a little bit too, so I can kind of show you guys the behind the scenes of what I'm doing to try to, you know, figure that out, and some tweaks I can make and see if I can get any improvement live during the video. So with that being said, let's hook up the Techdisc. Let's just throw the full shot, y'all. I'm not gonna be ripping too much power because of the limited space, and I did throw a shot maybe last week where I followed through and my first finger caught this little screw that's on this block of wood. It's pretty much healed now, but it was bleeding, so we'll try to stay a little bit more controlled, y'all. Stock shot. Yeah, there we go. I love how it has this simulator too, so it just like kind of shows how it flies. All right, we got 65 speed. You can see that nose angle 4 degrees and launch 2.6. So I think really I need to get my launch a little bit higher and my nose a little bit more down. Let's just throw another stock shot. We'll just get a few. 66, 4 degrees nose up. We'll throw another one, and then I'll throw some like different angles maybe. That might be, ooh, that one had a lot more height. Looks like 400 feet. All right, but those were all a lot of highs are, so I'm gonna try to throw these flat, which we'll see what angle we can hit. It felt kind of flat to me, but it's probably still a little bit hyzer. Yeah, 6 degrees of hyzer and 4.6 degrees of nose angle. Let's do another flat one. Well, what I think flat is, I have to like think about getting anhyzer in order for it to actually be flat, so it's probably still a little hyzer. Yeah, 6 degrees of hyzer, 4.8 nose angle. Let's do a couple of anhyzers. It's probably like, that one might be kind of flat. Okay, -8, so. And the nose angle is staying relatively similar throughout all these different angles, which is kind of good. I thought there might be a chance that when I switch to an anhyzer, that it maybe would like get the nose up even more. So let's try another one of Annie. Don't really want to throw an anhyzer with an undertaker because it's probably just gonna roll, but 0 degree launch angle was crazy. But we got 7 degrees of Annie, and we got 5 degrees of nose angle. I'm gonna swap over to the force and see if these numbers change much. It should be kind of the same, but let's just see what happens. We got the force. Let's do a stock shot. See if we can get some more distance out of the higher speed disc. 15 degrees of hyzer, 5 degrees of nose angle. And yeah, I mean, we're not doing super fast throws right now, still under 70 miles an hour. Don't think I'm gonna be pushing too high. If I got like 72, that'd probably be really good. I don't have a full run up, and again, I don't want to risk hitting something. One more stock shot. That one actually might be 70. Nope. 2.5 degree nose angle. Still a flat shot. Oh, I hit my chest. I gotta stop doing so many flies. Too many chest exercises. 6.6 degrees of hyzer. 1.2 degrees of nose angle. God, we might be making progress without even trying. How nice would that be? One more flat shot. Which, again, it's going to be hyzer, but I'm okay with that. If my mind thinks it's flat, the stability of the disc is going to always just flip a tiny little bit and then end up, like by the time I release at 6 degrees of hyzer, by the time I release it and then my eyes pick up the disc, it's going to come out flat. So that's probably why I think 6 degrees is actually flat, and I'm fine keeping it that way. 2.6 degrees of hyzer again. Let's go Annie. Ooh. I also can't get a massive launch because I don't really want to hit this guy's house. 6 degrees of nose angle. Not good. One more Annie. Okay. So I haven't seen any difference with the two discs. Yeah, 4 degrees of nose angle. I don't think the disc really matters. It'd be interesting to have a slow disc, like a putter. But again, I think the main difference there will just be I grip it differently. So let's try a fan grip, actually. Let's see what happens with the fan grip. Which, my fan grip, it's the same thing with the palm, but then I put my pinky on the rim still, and the crease of this forefinger on the rim there, and then I fan these two out. So it gives me control still, but just a little bit less. It's not quite like a full fan, like some people have this pinky off, especially when they putt. I've never liked that, so. That feels awful. People fan grip drivers, bro. That's wild. That like slipped out. Just honestly not as fast. I think it came out too soon. Let's throw one more like that. Yeah, it's early release again, I think. All right, well, we're gonna give up on the fan grip thing. So now, most of these numbers I feel like I'm okay with. The speed is kind of slow right now, but I'm not doing full power. The spin rate, I'm getting 15,000 RPMs, or 1,500 RPM, 15,000 would be crazy. 1,500 RPMs I feel like is fine. Obviously, yeah, if I could get into 1,700 territory, that'd be great. Maybe we can mess around with that a little bit. The wobble, obviously that'd be nice to be 0, but I don't think 3.8 is too bad. And then the hyzer angle is what it is. The nose angle, I've got to get that down. Isaac posted something to his story where he got like negative 10 or 11. If we could get any more close to that, that'd be really nice. And then obviously from that extreme, you can kind of dial it back. But I'd like to be like -2, -3 on an average stock shot would be ideal. And then the launch will have to come up a little bit too, to probably like 4 or 5, just so I'm not throwing shots into the ground. So let's tackle the nose angle first. But it's dinner time out there for somebody. So I'm gonna move some stuff around and check this out. We'll see you guys in a bit. All right, guys, quick pause in the video because I'm hungry, and thankfully this video is sponsored by Uber Eats. So with how much I'm practicing, traveling, training, filming, or editing, there can be days when putting extra energy into cooking just doesn't sound that appealing. Ordering delivery with Uber Eats, however, comes in so clutch, especially with how simple and stress-free everything is. With just a few taps, I can browse a ton of local spots in my area, find new favorites, and track my order the whole way. And if I'm already out like training or just want to skip the delivery fee, sometimes pickup can make more sense too. It's just nice having options and that reliable, convenient go-to all in one place, especially when plans fall through or I'm short on time. It honestly takes the stress off my plate so I can focus on everything else. Right now, you can order from hundreds of different restaurants on Uber Eats, discover new deals every day, and use code ADERHOLD15 to get $15 off your first order with a minimum basket size of $20, or just scan that QR code on screen. So yeah, order delivery with Uber Eats and make life a little bit easier. Link and promo code are in the description. Bon appetit. All right, we're back. Let's try to get this nose angle down. So I'm gonna just, first of all, try to reach back a little bit low to high and force me to do like a reverse swoop. So a lot of people that throw nose up will reach back high, pull into the power pocket, and then create this swooping motion, which gets the nose up. I'm gonna try to do the opposite of that and start low and finish high and hopefully get a little bit better nose angle from that. One key too when trying to change your technique is it has to feel uncomfortable. 0.2, so we've already made improvement. It has to feel bad. So that one felt uncomfortably low, and I know that's a good sign because if it feels normal, it's probably not making a difference. It's not changing anything. So I'm gonna try that again, and this time I'm gonna try to feel like I'm reaching straight down. It probably won't be quite there, but in my head, my mental cue is gonna be straight down into the throw, kind of like an Eric Oakley or Colton Montgomery kind of reach back, or even Isaac, he reaches back low too. So we're gonna try that and see if we can get, and it got the launch up too, so it kind of balanced out. So that was actually a much better throw. Let's try that again. Just trying to reach back straight down, kind of forces it to, and we got 0.0. Okay, that's really nice. So now, another one that people talk about, when I was trying to figure out how to improve my nose angle this offseason, of course I did what anyone else does, and I went straight to YouTube and saw some really good videos on some people that seem to have made progress. So a couple of things that people talk about was the reach back was one of them, which is, I've made a video on that before as well. And then pouring the coffee is one, and turning the key is one. So we'll try pouring the coffee first. So basically, you got your coffee pot, and you're just gonna pour it out. So basically, just kind of forcing the nose angle down. If you keep your hand in a natural state, like a handshake, you know, that's pretty nose up. So we're just gonna tip it down and try to really think about kind of flexing like whatever this muscle is in the forearm and getting that to bend down. So try that out. The one thing I'm concerned with this is you don't actually release the disc that way, and so it's more of a, it pops out kind of like right here. Or if you had a clock on top of you, it'd be like maybe like 10:30 is where it releases if the target's 12 o'clock. So I think pouring the coffee, if anything, is really just gonna like add a little bit of hyzer, but let's try it out. Felt really weird again, so I know that's a good sign. 1.7. It's not going the right direction. Let's try it again. I'm still trying to reach back low as well. Okay, let's see what that one. 1.9. Okay, so obviously you'd want to do a lot more throws, but I don't want this video to be an hour long, so we're just going to give up on that thought. I don't want to be like this, but I think for myself, I don't have an issue with pouring the coffee. You might have an issue with that, and then that might be your fix, but for me, I'm not going to change that. Now let's try turning the key, which is basically just sticking your key in the lock and locking it, right? So you just turn it. So basically, as I'm pulling through, I want to get here and then kind of roll my wrist over. So if I think about on my reach back, right, I have my hand kind of like this. I'm going to try to just rotate it out to where my palm is like now pointing up basically. And what that's going to basically do is get this disc to the back of the disc to kind of pop up, the front of it to come down, and hopefully force that nose angle down. This is the one tip that I've seen the most improvement with on YouTube. I've seen guys get like, I think I've seen like negative 20 degrees or something. So we're going to try that and hopefully get some good numbers. Turn the key, here we go. It does kind of feel like, it feels like you're rolling your wrist over and like power, like grip lock anting it. But there we go, we got our first like decent negative one. So we'll try that again. -4, that's really good. And also, like, if you look at some people who throw really nose down, I think Isaac's one of the best examples. I think he has one of the most aggressive nose down shots. He throws really good launch angle to get the disc up, but he also throws what looks like a hyzer on every shot, yet it always comes out on a little baby Annie. And I think that's because he has his pull through, and then he's turning that key at the very end, and it snaps it over to nose down, and then he gets that nice consistent flat out of it. So let's try that again. -4 is great though. -0.3 launch, probably not ideal. That shot's going straight into the ground about 25 feet. So, okay, 67 feet, 140 feet, not great, but holy buckets. That's what happens when you try to get positive launch angle into a small 7-foot net. But we got -5. We got -5 and we got a +5 of launch angle, 68 speed, 1600 spin rate, 1.5 wobble. That might be my best throw of all time. I think you guys wish you witnessed the best shot of my life. Too bad it was into a net. But it's really nice to know that it is possible to get this nose down. So hopefully you guys can try this out for yourself. The toe on the key thing seems to be positive. Let's try to combine, well, the launch, it's tough because of the net. Let's just try one more, and we'll just see what we get. Maybe if I just plant really close to the net, I can throw a little bit better launch into it. I'm like skilled to follow through too because that post. -1, okay. I'm gonna try one more. Let's just go a little slower too. I saw that it's easier to get some movement on this toe on the key method with slower speed as well. So just do like a little walk up. That felt torqued over. -4, -4.9 launch. Yeah, not a good shot. It's hole 3 at toboggan, maybe that's okay, but almost nowhere else. Try another one. Toe on the key, y'all. I think it's a good cue for me mentally too to think about toeing this key. -2. So we're right there. This is where, now that we've made the progress into where we can actually get the nose angle kind of where we want, then it's all about just drilling this in over and over again and throwing a bunch of shots like this until it becomes natural and doesn't feel awkward anymore. And then that's when you just cemented a new habit and your game can really take off. So it just takes a bunch of reps at this point. It's tough to get to this point even, but then it does take a lot of work to get it to cement. But I think it's a good habit to think about toeing the key because it also makes me think about the shot, like the final second of the throw or the millisecond of the throw, when I'm really trying to get that last little like pop and finish. That's something that helped me a lot this season, was really thinking about just like the last little bit of it and not worrying as much about everything else. A lot of the times you can have a shot where you might do all this stuff right and then the timing at the very end just isn't quite right and it's just not gonna work out too well. I like to liken it to like golf putting, where you wanna be like a small backswing and then accelerating through the follow through. It's kind of the same thing where you wanna be like whatever it is back here and then just like pop it. Same thing with putting in disc golf, right? It's just that last little pop. And that's why you can have so many different pros with so many different looking techniques in every single throw, all have good results because they're able to get to that last point correctly. So let's throw one more of these, and then I kind of want to mess around with the forehand as well, just to see what we can do. It's so nice having this tool. -4 degrees, man, I love that. So yeah, I think there's hope to get this nose angle down. And I do think having a slightly nose down shot is preferred because I feel like it's going to fly a more true line. A nose up shot, right, if we think about it, a nose up shot on a little bit of hyzer is going to be more left. A nose up shot on a little bit of Annie is going to be more right. And a nose down shot on both of those, like let's say I go nose down on hyzer, well now it just kind of pulls it back. It like pulls it back to straight, which I feel like is another reason why Gannon and Isaac and some of those guys just, they're so good at those shots because they can keep everything just like straight to the center. Gooseman, on the other hand, is the anomaly. I feel like, well, he has about the same nose up problem as me, maybe even a little bit worse, but he throws predominantly slightly nose up, and he's like a top 2 or 3 thrower in the world. So he obviously makes it work, but I do think it'd be better to be slightly nose down, so I'm going to keep working towards that. But it is possible. So let's throw some forehands and see what we can do. It is kind of fun to just mess around too. So like that's the beauty of having this set up. You can kind of just dink around and try to do different shots and hit different angles and hit different nose angles and maybe change the spin rate and stuff. Actually, let's do that. Let's try to get the spin up. How can we do that? The best we've gotten is like 1600. Let's try to get 1700 spin rate. Okay, I'm going to try to really get my wrist involved. Let's think about that as my mental cue. Not worrying as much about nose angle now, but just trying to get my hand to open up. The problem with spin rate is that it is somewhat tied to speed. So if I wanted to get 100 more RPMs, I could probably just throw the disc. You know, I got 60 miles an hour, so if I threw it 70 miles an hour, it's probably over 1600. No, it's definitely over 1600. So I need. Let's just. I'm gonna. Still -1 though. I wasn't even thinking about the nose angle on that. And we got negative nose angle. So I'm gonna try to really pull the wrist into my power pocket and let it snap out. And I need to get my speed up a little bit too. So we'll try to rip this one a little bit more. Okay. Okay, 1607. I don't think I'm gonna get 1700 today, guys, because I can't do a full run-up, so I need more speed. Let's do a forehand, see what happens. Okay. One thing with my forehand is my timing's not always right. When I'm throwing my best forehands, my best forehand tournaments, I'm really doing a good job of planting with my left foot and then letting everything else come through. Whereas at times, when my flick is a little bit off, I tend to throw through before it plants, and then you lose so much power on everything. So forehand flat, 10-degree nose angle. We'll cook, chat. Let's throw another one. That might be something to work on. I think forehand generally does have a little bit of positive nose angle because you just kind of throw from low and you don't want to throw it into the ground. But then again, why, right? I feel like if we could just launch it up with a good nose angle, I don't know. I feel like 10 degrees of positive nose angle, you're throwing a balloon at that point. Where it's just like, it can go anywhere, you know? I don't. Let's try another one. See what happens. Just a stock. I'm not thinking about too much. Really just that plant, and then I'll mess around with the nose angle maybe. I also don't love all this crap in the way, but we'll make do. 9. Okay. So let's go back to what we learned with the backhand. I'm going to try to turn the key, but this time I'm going to be unlocking the door, right? So I'm going to be going through and trying to roll my wrist over, which the people say palm to the sky. I don't think that actually, if I do palm to the sky, like, what is that angle, right? I'm throwing super high or nose up. You see people like Jeremy Colling, right? Just a nice little, and then you follow through and roll it over. So let's try that. Got over on it, but I think it might have been too late. That's the thing too, is if you turn the key at the wrong time, it might not do anything. Okay, we got 5.7, so that's progress. If you try to turn the key before you stick it in the lock, it's not gonna lock or unlock it. And if you stick it in there too far, I guess that technically doesn't make sense, but you get what I'm saying. If it's timed wrong, it's not gonna work. Let's try to turn the key again. I'm gonna start a little bit further right so I don't hit the table. Turn the key. I don't think that was very good. I also don't think my timing wasn't right on that either. I didn't plant right. 6.7 though, it's not too bad. Look at the spin rate too. It's so funny how less efficient the forehand is. You just automatically lose like 30 to 40% of your spin rate going to a forehand. The biomechanics of just like the way the joints pass each other, you just can't get as much spin with flick, which is also partly why the forehand is just not as good of a throw. You can see my launch angle on that, -2.5. I feel like that's maybe part of the reason why I throw nose up too. It's like a catch-22 situation where I probably have a natural like high to low forehand shot, and then to combat that I throw nose up, and then to combat the nose up I throw more down. Then you might have this situation where you just get both things to degrade over time. So this is what this backyard session's all about, is trying to fix those mistakes, those bad habits. So let's try to go low to high with the launch angle and like lock that door. Here we go. And plant at the right time. This is when it gets tricky. All right. Okay, I think I did all three actually. This is where it can start to get overwhelming too if you try to do too many things. So if you are reworking your form, it can behoove you to just pick one or two things, try to get those improved, then bounce to something else once those get locked in. trying to do everything at one time can be really difficult and too confusing, too much for the mind. But 6.9, I feel like I gotta do better than that. Should we try to pull a coffee with forehand? It just feels good. I feel like I got a good brace with that too, though. Kind of pushing off the ground, right, into that. I feel like that helps with timing as well. 6.8, let's try a really slow shot and just really lock that door. I'm probably doing it too late. I need to turn the key sooner. So I'm just throwing it down. Oh, 1.5 down? Holy smokus, that ain't no jokers. Let's try it again. Okay, that was a better launch angle. 2.3. That is something I noticed in the overthrow videos. Shout out to those guys, but they said that the more speed you have, the more difficult it is to get the nose extremely down. So maybe that's partly why I'm able to get a better nose angle at this little slower speed here. Right? All right. 0.3. Okay, so there's hope with that too. Guys, we might come back 2026 a brand new player. Let's go back to the backhand. I want to try something with the grip. So let's throw a stock backhand shot, and then, well, okay, a new stock backhand shot while I'm thinking about turning the key and all that stuff. Okay, that one felt okay. Negative 5.8, brother. What are we doing out here? All right, let's try taking my grip. Somebody commented, or sent me a DM or commented or something and said, take that pinky off, right? So now we're gonna do the Drew Gibson grip. Well, at least what he used to do. 3 fingers on the rim, one pinky off the rim, and then we'll see what happens with this. Still trying to turn the key, still trying to do the low to high reach back. Don't feel like it came out at the right time. Really feel like I did lose a little bit of the timing on that. I think it slipped out of my hand a touch, but we got okay numbers. So let's try it one more time. Try to hold on to the disc this time. Okay, that one was more like how it's supposed to feel. Negative 1. Let's try the Gooseman form. So instead of Drew Gibson's 3 fingers, I'm gonna go full on goose, silly crazy goose, 2 finger power grip. This might partly be why he gets that crazy snapping sound. But let's try it. That is crazy, man. It's like, it just feels like I have no contact with the disc. I mean, my numbers are fine though. It's almost like it doesn't really matter. You can kind of make anything work. I don't know, but it is fun to mess around. I'm gonna throw one more shot and then that might be it. .8. I gotta do better than that. We gotta get a good one here. Negative 3.1. Ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it. So we went from 3 to 4 degrees stock angle to making a couple tweaks and getting to pretty consistently in the negatives and a couple like -5. So honestly, this is a really good tool. I kinda am jealous. I didn't have one of these back when I was building my technique. I think 7-8 years ago, this would have helped a lot. But you got it now, so definitely is a really helpful tool. Again, not sponsored, but disc golf's growing, so it's really cool to see. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys got some value from this, maybe a little entertainment. And if you guys want to, get out there and grind and improve your technique, it definitely helps a lot with your squalls. So good luck to you all, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one, and take it easy.